Uma mãe, a caminho de ir buscar os seus 3 filhos à casa do pai, é confrontada com um pesadelo que choca toda a comunidade. Esta é a história de uma família destruída por um pai perdido mentalmente, cheio de raiva, querendo controlar a sua família e lentamente descendo à loucura. É a história de um pai dedicado que se torna em um assassino sangue frio. Bem-vindos ao canal Para Além do Mal. E antes de entrarmos nesta história, se é fã do estranho, sombrio e misterioso em formato de história, então veio ao sítio certo, porque é tudo o que fazemos e carregamos todas as semanas. Por isso, se for do seu interesse, carregue no botão gosto, subscreva no canal, clique todas as notificações para não perder nenhum dos nossos carregamentos semanais. Muito bem, vamos à história de hoje. Alguns crimes são mais horríveis do que outros, mas não consigo imaginar um crime mais condenável do que um pai matar os seus próprios filhos. No dia 13 de junho de 2022, no tranquilo bairro suburbano de Round Lake Beach, uma casa no bloco 200 Camden Lane, Illinois, ficaria para sempre marcado na memória da comunidade após um crime inimaginável. Para compreendermos o que se passou, é preciso recuarmos uns meses antes deste trágico dia. Jason Lee Carroll e Deborah Carroll decidiram dar o nó quando o seu primeiro filho, Bryant Anthony Carroll, tinha apenas 2 meses. Jason Lee Carroll, de 35 anos, era descrito por familiares e amigos como um pai amoroso e dedicado, uma pessoa que adorava os seus filhos. Juntos tiveram 3 filhos vibrantes e carinhosos. Brian Anthony Carroll, de 5 anos, Cassidy Rose Carroll, de 3 anos, e Keegan Locke Carroll, de 2 anos. No entanto, com o passar dos anos, o casamento tinha azedado, e segundo a cunhada de Deborah, a relação tinha se tornado abusiva e a estabilidade mental de Jason estava a piorar. No dia 16 de fevereiro de 2022, Jason publicou no Facebook os seguintes comentários. Passei por uma fase negra durante algum tempo e passei por uma espécie de crise de meia-idade e perdi quem eu era e o que me fazia ser eu. Finalmente, encontrei algo que me fez sentir e sair deste estado de espírito e espero que se torne algo que eu possa seguir para sustentar aqueles que amo. Sei que é apenas um jogo, mas faz-me lembrar todas as coisas que adoro e que sinto falta. O exército, para além de me sentir agora respeitado pelas minhas opiniões e conhecimentos. Após algumas tentativas falhadas, um mês antes dos assassinatos, em maio de 2022, Deborah decidiu deixar Jason de uma vez por todas, devido à sua negligência para com a família. Deborah saiu de casa com os 3 filhos, seguindo em frente com a sua vida. Começou a ver outra pessoa, contratou um advogado para tratar do divórcio, com pedido de custódia total aos seus 3 filhos. Para Jason, este foi o ponto de ruptura. Não recebendo esta notícia bem, ele recusa-se a aceitar esta nova realidade. No fundo, Jason sabia de que desta vez era o fim do seu casamento. E assim, obcecado em recuperar e controlar a sua família novamente, começou a entrar em uma profunda depressão, perdendo o emprego, distanciando-se dos amigos e cada vez mais tornando-se um ávido jogador de jogos de vídeo, mergulhando cada vez mais num lugar sombrio, onde os seus pensamentos se tornavam cada vez mais distorcidos e sombrios. Este parece estar de acordo com o perfil de um aniquilador de família. Para quem não sabe, aniquiladores de família são aqueles que assassinam um ou mais filhos e que podem ou não matar o cônjuge ou a si próprios. Apresentam 4 ou pelo menos 2 destas características: hipocrisia, desilusão, ausência de leis, organização e paranoia. Os agressores hipocritamente autojustificam os seus atos, dizendo que a desagregação da unidade familiar é intolerável. Então, desiludidos com o cônjuge, entram em paranoia, achando-se no direito de punir os familiares de uma forma criminosa e ilegal. Na superfície, Jason ainda parecia funcional, mas por dentro estava a perder o controle da realidade e as pessoas mais próximas dele, incluindo Deborah, não se apercebiam da profundidade do seu egoísmo e ciúme. nem de até onde Jason estava disposto a ir. Para ele, agora o problema era mais do que pessoal. Agora tratava-se de vingança. Deborah estava convencida de que Jason era um pai dedicado e que nunca faria mal aos seus próprios filhos. E ela acreditava que os filhos deveriam ser vistos por ambos os progenitores, acabando por concordar com o horário de visita paternal com o Jason. No dia 11 de junho de 2022, Jason foi buscar os filhos para o que era suposto ser a sua visita normal de fim de semana. Passou o dia com as crianças, como qualquer pai, a brincarem no quintal, a jogarem jogos de vídeo e a verem filmes de Disney.
How were the kids? Were they joyful, playful?
They were awesome.
Yeah. I mean, they wasn't like frustrated.
Por volta da 1 da tarde, Deborah pôs-se a caminho da casa do seu ex-marido para ir buscar as crianças. No caminho para lá, Deborah ligou várias vezes para Jason para o avisar de que ela estava a caminho, mas não conseguiu entrar em contato com ele. Quando Deborah chegou a casa, ela bateu a porta, mas ninguém atendia. E o carro de Jason, o Nissan Maxim vermelho de 2010, não se encontrava na entrada ou na garagem. Em pânico, Deborah ligou para o 112, pedindo uma verificação do bem-estar. No entanto, passando algum tempo, Deborah encontrou uma forma de entrar em casa pela garagem. Ao entrar na casa, Deborah começou a notar o sangue pelo chão e algumas coisas partidas. Pedindo a Deus para que não fosse nada de mão, ela começou a entrar em todos os quartos, gritando pelas crianças e por Jason. Num dos quartos da casa, Deborah depara-se com os corpos sem vida das 3 crianças, deitadas na cama. A Deborah frenética, mal conseguindo falar, faz uma segunda chamada surreal e trágica para o 112, enquanto gagueja olhando em volta para o horror em que se encontra.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
I'm Camden Lane. My kids, my husband's kids.
Okay, repeat the address for me one more time.
East Camden Lane.
Okay, verify what town?
Round Lake Beach, Illinois,
Okay.
60073.
Okay, and what's the phone number you're calling from? Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
I came home to take the kids, and they're all on the bed, and they're dead.
Okay, all right. How many children?
3.
Okay, one moment.
Claramente, Deborah tinha acabado de presenciar algo indescritível, não conseguindo expressar uma frase com sentido. Em poucos minutos, os agentes da polícia chegam ao bloco 200 do Eastern Cadam Lane, Illinois. As suas câmaras corporais captam a tensão no ar e a casa encontrava-se estranhamente silenciosa. Os agentes policiais percorrem as divisões à procura de sinais de vida e gritam: "Polícia! Polícia a subir!"
Females upstairs with the children.
You gotta get in there before rescue is.
Otherwise, just go in.
Just go in, I think we have enough. 42 location.
Police!
Police department!
Police!
Coming up!
Coming up! Let me see where's that.
I got blood here.
There's blood all over. I can stay here.
Is there anybody else in the house, ma'am?
What?
Is there anybody else in the house?
I don't know.
What is going on? Okay.
Okay, ma'am, do you have any weapons?
No, I don't have
Okay,
any
I'm
weapons.
gonna have you step out here with me,
Step out
okay?
of the room, please.
Yeah, come out here.
Step out of the room.
Okay, come out here. Okay, ma'am. We got one coming down.
Okay, alright. Is Spyro
Please.
Yes, they're okay to come in.
You wanna come in?
Yeah, come on in. Okay, there's no way for us to avoid this, Bobby.
Okay.
You got your body cam on?
Yeah, I got my body cam.
I don't want to touch any of them, but they're not breathing.
Crawford, you want them upstairs?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like at least one to come up.
Okay, can
Just one, just to verify.
any of my guys that come in, please put them in front of you. I need my guys in here. It's gonna be two.
Okay. At least, yeah, we just at least need
It's gotta be two of us.
That's fine. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Okay.
So just be prepared. It's a mess.
Há sangue espalhado pelo chão, escadas, casa de banho e armários. Débora é levada para a sala de estar, encolhida numa bola inconsolável. Débora diz: não acredito que ele fez isso. Ela soluça, o seu corpo treme de dor, o seu mundo, os seus filhos, tudo o que mais amava na vida, desapareceu num instante. A intensidade do momento é captado não só na câmara da polícia, mas também no silêncio da casa, onde outrora esteve cheio de vida e de barulho. Débora diz com uma voz incrédula e angustiada:
The most important thing to me were the kids, and he knew that. He knew that nothing mattered to me but those children, and he took them away from me because he knew that would hurt me the most. He always told me he couldn't do anything to his children. My beef was with you, not with the children. So I never worried about the children because you love your children and you should never do anything to your children. He always said he would never do anything to the kids. You know, never thought anything of it. And I have regret every day of my life.
Por essa altura, Jason Carroll, o pai das crianças, cobardemente tinha fugido do local. Por essa razão, foi imediatamente identificado como uma pessoa de interesse. No entanto, ninguém sabia seu paradeiro. O seu Nissan Maxima vermelho de 2010 também tinha desaparecido da garagem. Os agentes emitiram imediatamente um alerta para todos os departamentos de polícia da área de Chicago, com o objetivo de encontrar Jason e o seu veículo. Em poucas horas, esta caça ao homem viria a resultar e o Nissan Maxima vermelho de 2010 seria avistado pela polícia estadual de Illinois, com Jason a conduzir de uma forma errática numa autoestrada cheia de tráfego. Jason levou a polícia numa perseguição de 17 minutos em alta velocidade, numa ponte da autoestrada A80 em Juliet. Antes de se despistar numa zona arborizada. Os policiais imediatamente cercaram-no, pelo que Jason não tinha por onde fugir. A polícia correu para os destroços de armas em punho. Tendo em conta os danos causados no seu veículo estropiado, foi um milagre Jason ter sobrevivido apenas com alguns arranhões. Depois de, mais uma vez, ter falhado em pôr termo à sua vida, despestando o carro, enquanto esperava ser retirado do veículo, Jason foi murmurando à polícia e aos socorristas que ele era o responsável pela morte dos 3 filhos, e assim, confessando abertamente ser o autor do horrível crime.
I woke up, and all of a sudden, they were dead. You don't remember what happened? I mean, I know what I did, but I didn't feel like it was doing it. Alright, man, well, we're here to help you, okay? Where are you from? Don't you know stuff from here? You know what I did. I've heard some stuff. I mean, it's all kind of new to me. I'm not gathering enough based on what you said. To be with them.
As equipas de emergência retiraram-no rapidamente dos destroços e ele foi hospitalmente detido. A polícia seguiu a ambulância até ao hospital, onde o detetive Barreira começou a interrogar Jason sobre o terrível acontecimento.
Signed the states I've read you your rights here. You understand your rights. Feel free to look them over.
Okay, sir, I'm sorry. One more time. I know it's silly, but I always wanted to be a cop, and so I started doing GTA RP as a police officer. So I've read the rights like 1,000.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know it's just a video game, but it was like it was.
No, I hear you.
I let go of my dreams to try to provide.
Entre revirar o estômago, ouvir este homem a falar casualmente de jogar jogos de vídeo, horas após ter terminado com a vida de 3 inocentes crianças, ou de querer ser polícia, e repito, uma vez mais, depois de ter brutalmente morto os seus próprios filhos. Agora ouçam como esta desculpa patética de ser humano tenta apresentar-se como vítima, mesmo depois de ter cometido um ato impensável para as pessoas normais. Não se nota qualquer remorso em suas palavras ou no seu tom de voz, apenas autopiedade, como se fosse ele um merecedor de simpatia. Não é de estranhar que ele tente pôr a culpa de tudo na sua ex-mulher, Deborah.
To justify how she treats me. Okay. And I put up with it because I have no self. And then and she's always like manipulated me and like put me down and been mean to me. And the only time like I've really been mean to her is when it's like I'm not even being mean. It's more like it's like she says something mean or rude that's not true to hurt me. So I say something mean back because I know if I say something mean, she'll tell me the truth. Mm-hmm. It's really weird. It was a relationship, but I was depressed a lot, but I didn't always feel it until we actually got married. It was the first time.
Jason faz-nos pensar que a Deborah deve ter feito algo verdadeiramente terrível para provocar uma reação tão horrível da parte dele. Mas segundo Jason, foram apenas pequenas coisas, como por exemplo, repreendeu por ter ficado em casa de um amigo a jogar jogos de vídeo até as 2 da manhã, como se ele não tivesse uma família à espera dele em casa.
There would be times where we'd go out on dates before we got married, and she'd be like, okay, I'm home to bed. I'm like, okay, no problem, And then I would go to a friend's house till 2 in the morning and play some video games. Okay. And then the next day she would be mad at me because she claimed that I ditched her to hang out with friends. Okay. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? Just little things like that.
É compreensível que Jason se tenha sentido magoado e estivesse zangado com sua ex-mulher, pois de vez em quando todo o casal passa por momentos difíceis. No entanto, o que nenhuma pessoa sã consegue compreender é como um pai é capaz de tirar a vida aos seus próprios filhos só para castigar a mãe. Será que os seus filhos não significam nada para ele? O que fica claro aqui é que o ego ferido deste homem é mais importante para ele do que as inocentes vidas que destruiu.
You guys are married still, from my understanding, or
separated? Before yesterday, that she cheated on me and left me for another guy the day after my birthday.
Okay.
And then she's been keeping the kids from me, but she claims that she hasn't. But the truth is I thought she was keeping the kids from me. I was trying not to be too pushy, but then I am pushy with it because the biggest thing is to me is I feel like if she realized what she was doing, she wouldn't hate me so much. Yeah. If she realized that the reason why she's depressed is I feel like it's not that she doesn't love me, she didn't love me, it's that she doesn't love herself. Anyways, so I found out she was cheating on me and she was lying to me and I was just very adamant about it because when you're with someone for 7 years, you know their poker face, you know what I mean? You know when they're lying to you.
No, I get you.
Especially someone that lies as much as she does to me and herself.
O sentido distorcido da realidade de Jason levou-o a criar histórias para justificar as suas ações. Na sua mente, o que ele escolheu para fazer parecia razoável e o que alimentava essas fantasias era a sua própria autopiedade.
Phone calls and stuff because I was like, that's what I asked for. I was like, just let me talk to my kids just for a minute. Say good night, I love you.
So it had been about a month and a half since.
Well, no. That was the first. I asked her to start doing it. Before then, I had seen them. I want to say about 2 weeks ago.
So 2 weeks ago, was it kind of like you guys were in agreement? Every 2 weeks you see them on the weekends, or that kind of deal?
No, I told her.
Or just whenever you wanted to see them?
You'll see when you see my phone records, that I would argue with her about Debbie, I should be watching the kids. I don't have a job right now. I'm home alone by myself. Let me help you. It's not even just to help you. It's so I can spend time with them. And I go, like, the only problem is that I see is that I have limited food, but you get food stamps for them, so just give you, like, one meal, and I can take care of it. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like they're going to be eating that meal anyways at your place with her mother.
Como se os 3 assassinatos não bastassem, Jason ainda teve a audácia de deixar a mãe das 3 crianças 2 traumatizantes pistas, uma na mesa da cozinha e outra num quadro da parede na garagem. Graças a Deus, estas traumáticas mensagens foram encontradas pela polícia durante a busca da casa e não por Deborah. A polícia toda a casa desceu para a cozinha, onde encontra a sua maior pista até a data, uma carta para Debbie. Apesar da dificuldade em ler a letra de Jason, há vários vestígios na carta que provam que Jason Carroll escreveu esta carta e a deixou na cozinha à vista para que fosse encontrada por Deborah, a mãe das crianças e sua ex-mulher. Na carta, Jason diz que o casamento deles durou 7 anos antes de pedirem o divórcio e lutarem em tribunal pela custódia total dos filhos. A meio da carta, Jason alude o facto de ele ter perdido o poder paternal e assim a custódia dos filhos. Isso parece ser confirmado no meio da carta por uma frase perturbadora escrita por Jason: "Se eu não os posso ter, tu também não." Finalmente, Jason termina a carta confirmando que ele acabaria com tudo à sua maneira. A segunda mensagem encontrava-se na parede da garagem. "Desculpa, mas eu amo-os demasiado para o deixar para trás. Tu prometeste, tu juraste, tu mentiste."
I don't know why. I've never been like that before.
Okay.
And I said, I left her like a note and stuff, and like most of it was just like trying to be like, I don't know.
Was it something that you wanted for her to feel your pain in that sense, or
I
you know?
didn't say yes or no to that,
Okay.
honestly. I don't think so.
Okay.
I
What exactly?
honestly, I just didn't want to be in pain, and I think I told myself that. And you'll actually hear it in the last time we talked. I told her, it's like, if I'm not around, you're just going to start taking it out on them, and they don't deserve that. And I think I felt like I was saving them. I don't know why.
Saving them in
Like
what
from
sense?
going through the pain that I did. No. So like something snapped at me. I wrote the letter and then I did it.
Destas 2 arrepiantes mensagens, supostamente, foram escritas por Jason antes de ele ter assassinado os seus 3 filhos e antes de ter várias vezes tentado, porém sem sucesso, suicidar-se. Aparentemente, uma tentativa bastou para matar as 3 crianças, mas para suicidar-se, Jason precisou 4 tentativas e falhou todas elas. Yep.
Yeah, you were mentioning how she would mention that you would ditch her for your friends and things like that.
Yeah, and just like little stuff like that, and like I don't know, it just felt like she would try to paint me. She would paint me as this bad, terrible person to make herself feel better for how she felt about herself.
Okay.
I also wanted to be a psychologist. That was my 3rd dream job. So I like analyze things and overanalyze them. But a majority of the time I'm right.
Até o detetive Barraras concorda que Jason abandonava a família para ir jogar jogos de vídeo com os amigos. E a resposta de Jason: "São coisas tão insignificantes para ela aborrecer-se, não é?" Eu disse que queria ser psicólogo? Sim, era o 3º emprego de sonho. Eu teria um ótimo psicólogo, porque a maioria das vezes eu estou sempre certo. Este arrogante imbecil deixa-me furiosa. A profundeza de depravação na mente deste homem é verdadeiramente perturbadora. De uma forma retórica e retorcida, ele convenceu-se de que estava de alguma forma a salvar os seus filhos, como se as suas ações fossem misericordiosas e não monstruosas.
I don't know, like if I'm being honest with you, sir. I don't know why I did what I did, but like I know what I told myself when I did it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
What was that?
and it was like that they deserved to be with me, and that I felt like she was neglecting them, and for some reason I thought it was okay to hurt them too. I don't know why I did that. Like, I thought we would be together, like, you know, in whatever's after this life, like, you know. And, like, the whole time I was trying to get home, I kept telling myself, they're waiting for you. You have to be with them. I don't know why. Like, as soon as I got here, and the cop asked, or not here, but as soon as I, like, rolled my car and everything, and he asked me, do you know why, like, you know, do you know what happened? It was like the first time I, like, actually started crying, because
Como o Jason chegou à conclusão que ele ia juntar-se às crianças, eu não sei. Mas até para quem não é religioso, depois de ele ter cometido um pecado tão grave e impensável, ele não queria ver essas crianças. Nem neste mundo, nem no outro mundo, para dizer a verdade, em mundo nenhum. Para quê? Para eu poder lhes magoar novamente? Jason mencionou que à meia-noite falou ao telefone com a sua ex-mulher e que a conversa tinha terminado de forma amigável. No entanto, parece ter sido um catalisador que levou o Jason a uma espiral sombria e descendente. Segundo Jason, ele foi empurrado até o seu limite durante a troca de mensagens ou durante a chamada telefónica efetuada à meia-noite.
Because I know you guys spoke on the phone yesterday, right?
Yeah.
What time did your guys' phone call end?
I want to say about midnight.
What kind of triggered you after the phone call ended? Were kids sleeping, or were they up?
We were
Everybody
watching
was-
TV, and then I knew I had to give him a bath,
Yeah.
and like, I don't know, like, I just, something in my brain snapped because of the things she said to me on the phone.
What was it that she said?
Like, she said that I was nothing, that I deserved nothing, that I was a terrible father, a terrible husband, and like all these things. And you know, it's weird because she did say some nice things to me in the end.
Felizmente, temos duas versões dessa última conversa telefónica. Já ouvimos a versão do Jason. Agora, vamos ouvir a versão de Deborah. E perceberemos que este brutal e insano crime foi planeado por Jason muito antes deste último telefonema.
I left a month ago. The whole relationship has been rocky, and I've thought about leaving. I've left multiple times, actually. And a month ago was kind of like a set in stone, like, you know, this is it, I need to leave. He hasn't had a job since November. He doesn't do anything around the house. I'm basically the mother and father of the whole relationship. So I could do it on my own. So why not leave? So I felt stupid with him the entire relationship, and nobody else has ever made me feel so stupid before. So I left, and then I was meeting with a lawyer. I called a lawyer to get everything official. She had said all I gotta do is get the money, and then we'll send papers. And he found that out, and I think that the fact that he knew I would always come back before and I'd always give in, this time it was different. This time I wasn't giving in, I wasn't coming back. It was set in stone that I was leaving because I deserved better. I tried so hard. I offered him money. I offered him to help him get himself up and ready to go. And it's because I wouldn't come back. It's changed everything.
She even tried to, before the day before the children were discovered, she tried to get him to be included with the doctor's appointments.
I just wanted us to be together as a family. He said, I don't know, I don't want false hope is what he had said. But I said, okay, well, just think about it. If you want to come to the doctor's appointment with us, please come. Like, I want you there. We had happy times in the last conversation, asking about birthmarks on the kids and the tooths that were lost and all the stuff with the kids. We had really happy time, which was mind-blowing to find out that he had killed our kids.
Right after that conversation.
Mas como é de se esperar, Jason não vai saber porquê.
It was like, I don't know, like, something snapped in me, and like, and I started giving him a bath, and for some reason I said we're gonna do it one by one, and I did one by one, and then I would put the child in the computer room on the futon mattress to dry off, so then that way.
Nessa noite, as crianças estavam a ver televisão e a comportar-se brilhantemente. Por volta de 1 da manhã, após o telefonema com a sua ex-mulher, Deborah, algo dentro da cabeça de Jason arrebentou e nas mãos do pai, estas 3 crianças viriam a perder as suas vidas de uma forma pavorosamente inimaginável. Jason encheu a banheira de água e, um a um, levou os filhos para a casa de banho e afogou-os. Primeiro Gideon, depois Cassidy e, finalmente, Brian. A cruel verdade é que cada um dos seus filhos, confiando no pai, seguiu sem hesitar. E uma a uma, Jason afogou-as, depois esperou que secassem, vestiu-as e deitou os seus corpos sem vida, um ao lado do outro, na cama do quarto do computador.
Did at any point in time did they come in and see anything?
No,
Did they?
I refused to let them see anything because I don't know why, but I shut their door and I shut the bathroom door. And
Se há alguma pequena misericórdia aqui, é o facto de nenhuma das crianças ter testemunhado o destino um do outro.
Did you plan this out? Did you already have an idea of how you wanted to do this? Did it take some time for you to do it?
Independentemente do que Jason tenha dito, esta não foi uma decisão tomada numa fração de segundos. Foi uma série de decisões deliberadamente planeada que se prolongaram durante horas. A realidade arrepiante é que Jason teve inúmeras oportunidades de parar, pensar e deixar as crianças na sala a ver televisão. Mas em vez disso, após afogar Gideon, Jason tomou a decisão de continuar matando as restantes 2 crianças, Cassidy e Brighton.
So then, same thing.
yeah, and I don't know why I didn't stop. I don't know why I went with all 3. Like, you would think that I'd do one and then I'd be like, oh my God, what have I done? But it didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong.
Okay.
For some reason, I didn't cry.
Provavelmente, Jason só chorou porque foi apanhado. Agora, devo-vos avisar para se prepararem, porque o quanto mais fundo mergulhamos neste caso, mais absurdo e inacreditável esta história se torna.
And I went into the garage and I smoked like 10 cigarettes.
Okay.
Because then after that was done, I got so nervous. Like, because I knew I was next. You know what I mean? Like, I know it wasn't because of what I had done. It was because I knew I was preparing myself, calming myself down so that I could, because I don't.
O momento em que Jason começou a ficar nervoso foi o momento em que Jason percebeu que era a sua vez de morrer. Mas, sem surpresa, quando chegou à altura, Jason foi demasiado cobarde para ir até ao fim. No entanto, o que ele diz a seguir vai deixar-vos de boca aberta.
So I did what I did with them, and then I smoked the cigarettes, and I played a game of Hearthstone on my phone while I was smoking. Because again, like it wasn't like to me, I didn't do anything wrong. You know what I mean? It was just a normal, like, I don't know. Not that it was anything far from normal, but I think you get what I mean. So I played a game of Hearthstone, and then because I knew I had to, like, and I knew they were drying off, like, so
You said you played a game of Hearthstone?
on my phone.
Oh, okay. What's it called?
It's a card game called Hearthstone.
Hearthstone, okay.
Eu pergunto, dá para acreditar nisto? Este homem afoga as 3 crianças e depois senta-se a jogar um jogo de cartas ao telefone, como se nada tivesse acontecido. Vocês provavelmente estão a pensar que esta história não pode piorar mais do que isto, mas, infelizmente, esta história vai tornar-se ainda pior.
And I smoke another couple of cigarettes in the garage, and then I go upstairs and I close all 3 of them and put them in the bed. And then I put the blankets on them and everything, and I kissed them all. And I said, Daddy, we'll be with you soon, don't worry. And
Did you clothe them?
Yeah, I put diapers on them, the ones that needed diapers, underwear on the... and then I put pajamas on them all.
Put pajamas on all of them? Okay. And then you brought them into another room?
I didn't... There was 2 reasons, honestly, and like I'm probably giving, like a lawyer if I was saying I'm giving way too much detail, but it's like I'm just trying to be honest. But I didn't want them to be naked when they were found. I didn't want them to be naked wherever we were going.
Enquanto ele está a dizer tudo isto aos policiais, parece que ele esperava compaixão e compreensão da parte dos policiais. É difícil compreender este nível de distanciamento e falta de remorso.
And I let one, and then I tried to.
Where'd you try to that?
In the downstairs, there's a bathroom door and a closet door right next to the stairs, and I blacked out, and then I woke up, and the door had come off the hinges, and the extension cord had kind of sliced the door in half a little bit.
Okay.
And I think I was on the ground for maybe like 2 minutes, like that I lost track of time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I come to, and like I see that it's broke and everything, and like I remember like waking up, like struggling to come back, like thinking, I don't know, like I just remember like fighting to come back, and then I don't know, it was weird. It was like I was fighting myself too, like telling myself, no, just go. Like your kids are waiting for you, just go, stop fighting.
Quando o detetive Barrera o pressionou sobre a sua péssima tentativa em se suicidar, foi quando Jason deixou cair mais uma bomba. Uma bomba que só tornou os seus crimes muito mais aterrorizantes.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get an understanding of how it was that, because doorknobs are, low, right? Usually when someone something from like.
Well, that's why it was
okay,
up
so you
over the door.
Up over the door.
Yeah,
and then you were.
And I also
was there a chair?
I was low enough that I could drop to my knees because I have a problem with like I almost drowned when I was a kid, so like I can't stand feeling like I can't breathe, so I have to be able to. I was hoping I would black out before I couldn't breathe, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Imaginem a ironia desta situação. Este homem não pode ter consciência. Depois deste hipócrita quase se ter afogado em criança, desenvolveu um medo terrível de água, que ele próprio não consegue respirar quando junto de água. Mas, no entanto, isso não lhe impediu de maldosamente infligir o mesmo terrível pesadelo aos seus próprios filhos. Continuando a contar a sua história à polícia, Jason falou acerca de mais uma das suas tentativas de, entre aspas, se juntar aos seus filhos.
Do this, like you do it for your kids, do it for your children, they're waiting for you. Like I honestly, like looking back, I sounded like a madman. I had the bright idea, you know what, this isn't working. I'll go drive to the beach and I'll swim as deep as I can and try.
Okay.
And then I got there and I turned around. I'm like, no, I can't leave my kids. I'm doing this for them. Anyway, so I keep, and like, it's about 8:30, 9 o'clock now. And then I lay down. I laid down in bed because I was exhausted. I was so close, but like I couldn't keep doing it anymore. Like I was just tired, and I think I passed out for about half hour, maybe an hour.
Jason alega que depois disso, ele se dirigiu à casa de banho para mais uma tentativa de terminar com a sua vida. Mas até nisso falhou, pois as feridas nos pulsos continuavam a fechar-se, arruinando os seus esforços. É perturbador pensar que ele estava tão empenhado em fugir das suas possibilidades que nada parecia correr de acordo com o seu plano mirabolante. Como se a história não pudesse ficar mais escura, Jason mencionou casualmente que depois das suas tentativas falhadas de terminar com a sua vida, ele tinha simplesmente ido deitar-se por umas horas, pois o pobrezito sentia-se absolutamente exausto de tanta atividade. Vocês vão ouvir Jason queixar-se do tempo que ele levou para executar seu terrível plano, provando que ele tinha planeado este crime com bastante antecedência. Para Jason, tudo estava a levar muito tempo e nada estava a resultar como planeado. E quanto tudo isso, estava fisicamente a cansar-lhe, chegando mesmo a desmaiar várias vezes durante as suas tentativas falhadas de terminar com a sua vida. Agora imaginem o tempo total que ele demorou para afogar 3 crianças, uma a uma, esperar que elas secassem, ir à garagem, fumar 10 cigarros e depois desmaiar várias vezes enquanto tentava acabar com a sua vida de formas diferentes, como na casa de banho, na porta, na praia, etc.
So then I did, because I wanted to be with my children and it was taking too long. I would walk to the bed and I would lay down with the kids, and then I'd be like, no, I have to go with them, like they'll see me soon, I have to make sure this works. So then I would get back up and go back to the bathroom and make sure it was still bleeding.
Yeah.
And just like rinsing and repeating, I would pass out for maybe like a few minutes, and I would just go back to doing it because I really wanted to be with him and I didn't want to let him down. Like I want you to know I know what I did, but I'm talking.
I understand.
To you
Yeah. Oh man.
off
Yeah.
of the mindset, because it also makes it easier to talk about, to try to get back into that mindset, because when I admit to myself what happened is when I start to cry.
O mais estranho é que ele está a falar há mais de uma hora acerca do hedioso crime que cometeu. No entanto, ainda não derramou uma lágrima. Engasgou-se algumas vezes, mas essa é toda a extensão da sua reação emocional a este crime horrível. Durante a entrevista no hospital, o detetive Barreiras pressionou Jason acerca do porquê que ele decidiu terminar com as vidas dos seus filhos, se foi para punir a sua ex-mulher ou se havia uma outra razão.
They snapped at me because like I couldn't handle being cheated on, and I couldn't handle being away from my kids so much. I know that makes it seem like I was trying to get back at her, but it was like it was never about getting back at her. It was about as it sounds, was doing something for myself.
Okay.
And like that's what I told myself at least. Like I wanted.
What was that thing that you were doing for yourself?
Was them so we could be together forever.
Okay.
Here's the messed up part about it all is like I didn't realize what I was doing to them, and I didn't realize what I was doing to myself either. But I think subconsciously I did, like to myself. I know now that was wrong.
Okay.
Depois de numerosos falhanços, Jason apercebeu-se de que a sua ex-mulher ia chegar a casa em breve para apanhar as crianças. Por isso, Jason, em pânico, decidiu tentar mais uma vez acabar com a sua vida.
Then the game plan turned into, you know what? I can't be here. I can't be here when she gets here because I don't want to hurt her. Like I can't be here when she gets here. I'm just gonna go drive my car as fast.
Okay.
And then so I started driving down. I went to
What time is this now?
About 1:30.
About 1:30.
I started driving down 294 on the expressway, and I thought to myself, there's too many people. I can't cause an accident. There's too many people. So then I decided to drive to Chicago, and I was like, you know what? I'll just the biggest building I can get on. And then I like reasoned with myself, and I said, Jason, you're afraid of heights. How are you supposed to build up the courage to do that if you can't?
Se tomarmos atenção ao que Jason diz, é óbvio que ele estava a enganar-se a si próprio. Jason tem uma justificação para todas as suas supostas tentativas. Vais provocar um acidente, mas eu não quero magoar ninguém. Não consegues esfaquear-te, tens medo de alturas. Este é o homem que diz não querer matar ou magoar ninguém. É o mesmo homem que acabou com a vida de três crianças algumas horas antes. Isso é tudo o que precisamos para confirmar que Jason, realmente, nunca teve intenção de ir adiante com o suicídio. Pois não? Por uma única razão. Jason é um absoluto cobarde.
So then I thought to myself, well, I'm in Chicago, maybe I'll try to trade my car for a van.
Isso mostra o quanto Jason estava a levar a sério o ato de terminar com a sua própria vida. Ele ainda estava a ponderar entre usar cordas, saltar ou uma pistola. Jason chegou mesmo a pensar em ir para uma zona de bairro para ser morto durante um assalto ou talvez trocar o seu carro por uma arma. Mas até esse plano tem um problema.
And then I started thinking, I was like, but I don't want people to think that I'm a racist because I'm asking, hey, where's the bad neighborhoods at around here?
Yeah, no, I understand.
Aparentemente, Jason estava com receio de parecer ou soar racista. Assassino de crianças? Sim, sem problema. Racista? Definitivamente não. E ser uma cruz muito pesada, o mundo pensar que ele, Jason, era racista. Jason não aguentaria carregar essa cruz e com certeza lhe afetaria mentalmente e fisicamente por o resto da vida. O atrevimento deste homem.
So I started driving south on the expressway, and I told myself, I'll just stop at the first rest stop, and I'll wait until nighttime when there's like hardly any cars on the road, and I'll just do it then. And then Vegas saw me before that had happened, but I drove, and then finally I saw a barricade with a force behind it, and I'm like,
Pois é, e depois de tudo isto, Jason não se arrepende de ter tirado a vida aos seus filhos. Como ele próprio disse, ele só se arrepende de não se ter entregado à polícia mais cedo.
I mean, obviously, I wish I'd never done any of it.
Yeah.
But I should have just turned myself in.
E como é de esperar, Jason termina o seu interrogatório mostrando o quanto frio e calculista ele é. Daí uma palavra acerca dos filhos.
The fact that I actually, was able to.
Vamos parar um pouco. Não, Jason. O facto de nada te ter acontecido não tem nada a ver com milagres ou com o sobrenatural. Mas deve-se sim com o facto de tu nunca teres querido realmente terminar com a tua vida, mas tentado pôr fim à tua vida. Senão tu tinhas sucedido a primeira vez. Porque tempo é que não te faltou. Mas, graças a Deus, ele não conseguiu suicidar-se. Por mais estranho que possa parecer, a sua sobrevivência significa que, em vez de uma saída fácil, ele terá de enfrentar as consequências dos seus atos. Se tivesse acabado com a sua vida, o seu plano teria funcionado, mas a família teria ficado sem resposta ou justiça.
Breaking now, the father charged with 3 kids in Round Lake Beach has been moved to the Lake County Jail. Jason Carrolls is expected to appear in bond court tomorrow morning. He is charged in the deaths of his children, ages 5, 3, and 2.
Na manhã seguinte, 14 de junho de 2022, após uma breve hospitalização, os agentes da polícia escoltaram Jason do hospital para a esquadra da polícia de Lake County, onde foi colocado numa sala vazia e deixado com os seus pensamentos.
He had made several attempts at suicide. I can tell you that without disclosing those at this moment, there was a lot of indications at the scene. There was blood. The blood was not of the children. So there were multiple things that he had done and disclosed. At this point, as I mentioned, it's still ongoing. We will have those details for you hopefully shortly. But he did make statements as well on body camera as far as wanting to hurt himself.
Does he have a history of mental illness?
We are unaware of that. What is the actual appropriate response, right, when something like this happens? Our prayers and our hearts and I apologize because I did going outside to speak with the mother. And again, all I can say is that we really support her and we are going to do our best job for her.
Na quarta-feira de manhã, do dia 15 de junho de 2022, Jason compareceu no Tribunal de Fiança de County Lake e foi detido com uma caução de $10 milhões. No entanto, no dia 20 de junho de 2022, a sua caução viria a ser anulada e seria ordenado que permanecesse na prisão até ao julgamento. Enquanto procuravam Jesus, alguns membros familiares disseram que, no último ano, Jason tinha sido abusivo, controlador.
The step of our relationship, anytime I thought or threatened of leaving, he said he wanted to kill. After a while, it's just kind of a repetitive thing.
He would just use it as a manipulation tactic.
Yeah. He never actually did it. So he'd always use it as a manipulation tactic just to keep me around. And towards the end, he used it as well.
No entanto, Deborah queria manter uma relação com o pai dos filhos e deixá-lo visitá-los.
I should have stuck to my guns and not had their father see them, but I thought what was right is that the father should be involved, the father should see them.
E agora sabemos que isso foi erro terrível. Deborah sabia que Jason estava a sofrer de graves problemas de saúde mental, mas ela diz que Jason recusou-se a procurar ajuda.
He was in the military, but he never fought combat. He never fought the actual mental combat that you would fight. He was linguistics, just talking about something.
He spoke Arabic.
He spoke Arabic barely within Afghanistan. So then after that, he wanted to join the military so that he could die. He had said that at his father's funeral. He wanted to join the military so he could die. So right there was mental illness. At first I was going to do joint custody, and then I thought I know he's been mentally ill. He never accepted to get help for it because he said he could always do it himself. He would never get help for it. And he's like, he's fine. He could do it himself. Talk to people. I'm like, okay. But in the end, I was going to try to get full custody because I didn't believe him. I wanted my kids to go outside and play rather than being locked upstairs on the TV with video games constantly every day. I wanted to explore the world with my kids rather than being locked in the house. So I was going to try to get full custody for my kids.
Uma autópsia preliminar efetuada pelo gabinete do médico legista do County Lake revelou mais tarde que as crianças foram afogadas.
Steve Newton, NEWTON, Chief Deputy with the Lake County Coroner's Office. We did conduct autopsies this morning on the 3 children, and I just received word the third one has been completed and that the preliminary cause of death in all 3 children is consistent with drowning.
Era evidente que as vítimas tinham sido asfixiadas. Apesar de não haver marcas de defesa, as crianças tinham estranhas marcas no pescoço. Enquanto isso, Deborah passava pelo dia mais devastador da sua vida, na esquadra da polícia onde estava a ser entrevistada.
I woke up, I ate, I didn't contact them until I was on the way to get them because they had the doctor's appointment today. I went to Walmart to get diapers. I went to Walmart to get some pants for their playback. I got a bathing suit for my daughter. And then I went there and I opened the garage door and didn't notice anything. I didn't really think about it. I walked in and I looked to the right and I saw the door broken off the hinges. And then I saw drops of blood. And then I turned around and looked in the garage and I saw that the car was gone. I started calling him because I thought maybe he took the kids or went somewhere. And then I heard his phone upstairs. So I started walking up the stairs and I just saw more blood and then just started saying to myself, no God, please no, please no. And I go in the room and I saw all 3 of them there on the bed. And they were waking up. They were so cold.
Enquanto isso, na sala de entrevista da esquadra da polícia de County Lake, Jason continua a sua história de autopiedade e egoísmo.
I let go of my dreams to try to provide for my family, so I dropped out of college when I was going to be a high school math teacher.
Oh, no kidding.
Now, let me ask you this. You knew at some point she would come and find you guys.
Depois de um longo silêncio, Jason não só contou com pormenores perturbadores as ações horríveis que praticou contra os seus próprios filhos, como também acabou por admitir que o motivo foi retaliação contra a sua ex-mulher Deborah, e o porquê de ele ter deixado uma nota arrepiante onde se lia: se eu não os posso ter, tu também não podes. Jason fez várias afirmações sobre a educação que Deborah estava a dar a ambos os seus filhos, mas nenhuma das acusações foi confirmada ou foi provada. Por isso foram posteriormente rejeitadas por não terem fundamento. Mais tarde, um grande júri declarou Jason Carroll culpado do total de 9 acusações de homicídio em primeiro grau. As acusações incluíam 3 acusações de intenção de matar, 3 acusações de intenção de matar sabendo que os atos causariam a morte ou lesões corporais, 3 acusações de criação de uma situação com forte probabilidade de morte ou de grandes danos corporais. Inicialmente, Jason Carroll declarou-se inocente de todas as acusações, porém, mais tarde, alterou a sua declaração para culpado de 3 acusações de homicídio em primeiro grau pelo afogamento dos seus 3 filhos, mas mentalmente doente. Em dezembro de 2023, no julgamento de cortar a respiração, o Procurador de Estado de Lake County, Eric Reinhardt, expôs os atrozes pormenores do seu crime. O procurador descreveu como Jason, movido pelo ciúme, pelo desejo de controlar e pela vingança, tinha planeado meticulosamente os 3 assassinatos. Descreveu as ações de Jason como brutais, maléficas e sinistras, sublinhando o fato de ele ter usado os 3 filhos como peões numa vingança perversa contra a sua mãe. O procurador argumentou que Jason não estava doente mentalmente, mas ele era sim um homem calculista e vingativo. Deborah depois, com o testemunho de cortar as entranhas. Em lágrimas, Deborah contou acerca da última vez que via os seus 3 filhos vivos.
The most important thing to me were the kids, and he knew that nothing mattered to me but those children, and he took them away from me because he knew that would hurt me the most. He always told me he couldn't do anything to his children. My beef was with you, not with the children. So I never worried about the children because you love your children and you should never do anything to your children. So it's like it was me, it was a different story. And I just had so much faith, so much love that it would all work out in the end. And it didn't. I just wish I was there for them that day. I wish I was there to grab them before this all happened.
O advogado da defesa de Jason argumentou que ele tinha sofrido uma depressão, um colapso mental e que as suas ações foram o resultado de um homem que tinha ultrapassado os seus limites. O procurador Henry Reinhardt anunciou a decisão do júri. Jason Carroll foi condenado à prisão perpétua no Departamento de Correções de Illinois, sem possibilidade de liberdade condicional. À medida que o processo judicial se desenrolava, a comunidade ficou chocada com este macabro crime, tendo de lidar com as sequelas deste acontecimento devastador. No final, a justiça foi feita, mas nenhuma sentença poderá trazer as 3 crianças de volta. As últimas palavras de Deborah à imprensa foram de partir o coração, mas esperançosas. Ela disse: "Não sei se alguma vez serei capaz de perdoar o Jason, mas espero que isto faça com que as pessoas percebam a importância de procurar ajuda mental antes que seja demasiado tarde."
The only thing to rely on is faith. Before this, I thought, who could think of Jesus and God? Who could think of them? Because they took my children away. But at this point now, that's all you can think about. You don't know until you're in this situation that all you can think about is God and Jesus and the ones you've lost, because that's the only amazing feeling you get to know that my kids are with my father up in heaven fishing. They're with my aunt. They're with my grandma, telling them not to touch her drapes. They're all up there right now. So I always thought I was one of those people. How can you think of religion? F religion. They took your kids away. But when it happens to you, that is the only thing you can think about, because you want there to be a better society. You want to know that your kids are safe. You want to know that your kids are there, and you want to know that you can be with your kids someday, so that all the other stuff doesn't matter. I will wait till everything happens, and I can be with my children one day. Yeah, I talked to the kids the night before. Said I love you so much. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. And the next day they're gone. So, yeah. So many people told me, do not let him have him. Do not let him have him. He was mentally ill. To leave him constantly, but I was mind manipulated that he was a good person, that he was a good father, that all this stuff, and it just kept playing over and over and over and over and over again in my mind. So my thing is that if you have an inkling, if you have any kind of theory of no or anything, if this person, first of all, this person says to me, that's a guaranteed no. Do not let them see these kids. I don't care if it's a father, I don't care if it's a mother, I don't care anything. Do not let them see these kids, because these kids love me so much. They wouldn't be more than their father. And I let them go. My baby had said, just to stay only one day, and I left him longer. And if that were the case, they would still be with me today. Just trust your gut. Trust what people say. I don't care if those people are crazy. Trust what they say. I don't care how many courts, how many law officers, anybody get involved. Stick to your gut and keep your kids. Because that is all that matters. My children were absolutely amazing. They were 3 beautiful little souls. Brian, he was 5 years old. He was going to start kindergarten this year, and he was super excited to start kindergarten. He was super duper smart. Anything you asked, he had a question for everything and anything, and his response would always be why. And at some points I had to say ask Google because I don't know why. With certain things like science and everything. He loved Sonic. He loved video games, but he did it to the extent compared to what his father did. His father constantly played games and neglected his family. Where Brian did it, but he always wanted me to interact with him and play with him. He was the smartest kid in the world, and he wanted to be an astronaut to go to the moon. He always told me, "Don't worry, Mommy, I'll always take care of you." And that was Brian. He was my man. He was the only man I needed in my life. And Cassidy, she was my mini-me. She was a Sour Patch Kid. She was the sweetest girl in the world. But she could also be the evilest, She was a typical woman. A typical woman who, she could be the sweetest person, but then if you got her angry, she would come at you. I didn't have to worry about the safety of my boys because I knew their sister would take control and handle it all, She loved her makeup. She loved her nail polish. She loved everything girly, no matter how, tomboyish and, strong she was. She still loved her girly stuff. And she loved to eat, just like me. Anything and everything. She would eat, and I loved it. We were eating buddies together. And Gideon, he was my baby boy that I didn't think I would ever have. And it was like a miracle baby. So surprised because they were Irish twins. He loved Mommy so much. He was a mama's boy. He loved dinosaurs. He loved Luca. He loved Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, the hot dog song. He would bounce his butt to dance. We would all dance together so much. All I wanted to do was dance with my kids. I didn't deserve that. I should have stuck to my guns, and I have regret every day of my life.
O caso de Jason Carroll é mais do que a história de um pai levado a cometer um crime inqualificável. É uma chamada de atenção para a fragilidade da mente humana e para o facto dos problemas mentais não tratados, aliados a problemas conjugais e a falta de sistema de apoio familiar, poderem conduzir a tragédias como estas. Os nossos corações estão com a família afetada, com a comunidade durante este período difícil e com as 3 vidas inocentes que foram ceifadas demasiado cedo. A sua perda deixou um vazio profundo na vida daqueles que os amavam, mas as suas memórias continuarão a trazer luz para todos aqueles que os conheciam. Se achou esta história interessante, não se esqueça de gostar, partilhar e subscrever no nosso canal Para Além do Mal. Carregue nas notificações para nunca perder um upload e deixe um comentário a dizer-nos qual o próximo caso que gostaria que abordássemos. Obrigado por assistir, fiquem bem e vemo-nos no próximo episódio.